Disclaimer: I am just a humble Genshin Impact fan. I do not own any of the rights to Genshin Impact, or any of the content within it, such as the lore books. Those specifically belong to Hoyoverse. What I do have, however, are friends with things like learning disabilities, such as dyslexia and ADHD, or very little free time, making reading the lore books either in-game or on wiki pages hard for them. Our solution to these problems has been for me to make these recordings so that they can listen to them and still get to enjoy Genshin lore like the rest of us. I have chosen to upload these recordings to YouTube as a way of sharing them with other fans within the community who might be in similar situations. I am admittedly no voice actress, trained narrator, or video editor, but I have tried my best, so please be gentle with me. Therefore, without further ado, let's get into today's story. Flowers for Princess Fischl. The preliminary volume of the Flowers for Princess Fischl series. Volume 1. Sold by Kuroda at the Yae Publishing House in Inazuma City. This work originally came in a violet and black wooden box as a limited edition gift, but many hardcore fans of the series who wanted to collect the whole saga were enraged by the great amount of content versus the small number of copies printed. Due to this, Yae Publishing House would name this book Volume 0 and sell it separately. Eventually, the original work, the box collector's edition, and Volume 0 would all come to be regarded as standard by fans. Phantasmagoria. The dream lives on. Such words surely must appear in the midst of every tale, and they are largely the words of the Kaiserin of the Immernachtreich. This, surely, is not the enigma that concerns the great majority of readers, but we must still start here nonetheless. Osvaldo Hrafnavins, the mighty lord of the Nachtribin. If Fischl's strength in battle might be considered a 10, and the beasts of the world should have an average of 15, then Osvaldo's strength may be considered 13. His great power was on display when he destroyed Damarang in Volume 1. That said, the Nachtverhang is itself the nemesis of Damarang anyway. As for the feelings that Osvaldo holds towards Fischl, Mr. 9 does not believe it to be romance, but more likely a form of imprinting common to bird kindred. Editor-in-Chief's note. Regardless of what the author says, dear readers, you are free to interpret the personal relationships of the characters from Immernachtreich however you like. Aside from this, the title Prince Nachtribin is not a particularly high-flown one, considering that the Ravens have always been known for being conspirators and bearers of curses. Osvaldo likely insisted on this title, for how could a mere King of the Night call himself thus before the Immernachtreich? Beast of the World, Gesamtkunstwerk. In certain probabilities, this is the beast of the world that the Immernachtreich would be faced with in this cycle. Its battle strength is around 30. In a distant causality, if the philosopher Zarathustra was not chosen, then the opera writer would have gained victory in the contest over the will of the world. Once Gesamtkunstwerk takes the stage in the opera theatre of the apocalypse, many more beasts of the world that reside within the centre of the universe will inexorably begin to appear as well. In the final volume, the weakness of the beast of the world, Saint of Seven Tears, whose combat strength was 10 and therefore equal to Fischl, was quite out of the ordinary, and the saint merely wept for Zarathustra at first, a choice that seems undeserving of any blame. Both Zarathustra and the musician exist to give praise unto the Prinzessin de Verhurtelang. One proclaims the agony she suffers in her heart, while the other proclaims the grandeur of her travails. The Prinzessin, of course, will not favour the latter, for of such things she would be ashamed. Sommernachtgarten. It is said that those who are highly skilled in the magical arts will possess their own unique domains of consciousness. Their loves, hatred, yearnings, jealousies, adherence, and passions of the soul will be stored here. In the fictional tales of other novels, this space is called Summerland. The Sommernachtgarten of the Prinzessin is something in this vein. That this concept was never well explored in the end remains quite the pity. The suspected eternal return. Quite a few of the finer points of the tale have caused people to wonder if the Kaiserin of the Immernachtreich once experienced all that Fischl has. Fischl's father is undoubtedly not a mere shade. He is majestic and mighty and helps Fischl to dispel her confusions. As for Fischl's mother, the Kaiserin, her actions and deeds show her to have quite an interesting character indeed, but she will only speak one line, which is, as was noted earlier in this text, The dream lives on. In the final volume, Fischl's mother had already faded away, and so this volume, naturally, did not have this preceding line. But as the universe entered its denouement and all things with it flowed into the Immanaktrike, she spoke another line of enigmatic intent. Find meaning somewhere, the night deepens. Find meaning somewhere, the night deepens, but the dream lives on. Dear readers, I hope that you will all find happiness in this world where the sun still rises each day. Collection of questions and answers. Dear Mr. Nine, may I ask what the relationship between the Celestial Emperor's daughter in Legend of the Shattered Halberd and Fischl von Luschloss Nathadort is? I felt that the tragedy that unfolded toward the end of Volume 5 of Legend of the Shattered Halberd was due to the male protagonist and the Celestial Emperor's daughter's attraction to him. As such, I wanted to write a Prinzessin de Verurteilung who had no need of a male protagonist. This was the scaffold that would come to be flowers for Princess Fischl. Eventually, though, I did write the 6th volume of Halberd, which rescued the ending. There was probably some cross-pollination in the process of writing 2 series at the same time, but I was personally quite pleased with the result. In a fight between Mersdad, Khan the Asura, and his sword Leviathan at full strength versus Gazemkenwerk, who would come out on top? I originally intended to refuse to answer this question, but the editor-in-chief said that she'd axe my next manuscript if I didn't, in which case my mora would be on Gazemkenwerk.
Mr. Nine, you mentioned in Farewell that you were suffering from hair loss. Are you doing better now?
Could the Eye Publishing House not accept this sort of question? And do people actually read what gets added in these new editions? Editor-in-Chief's note. Oh, but the readers are very concerned about you. And yes, they are also very concerned with the purchase of new editions. Other information. Fischl styles herself after the main character of this novel and named Oz after the main character's most loyal partner, Osvaldo von Hofreinevens. Gesamtkunstwerk is a German term that roughly translates to total artwork. In art, it refers to works that incorporate many or all forms of art. It is also an accepted loanword in English from German when discussing aesthetics. Zarathustra is another name for Zoroaster, an ancient Iranian prophet who founded Zoroastrianism, one of the world's oldest organized faiths. The term Zarathustra is also commonly used to refer to Friedrich Nietzsche's work, Thus Spoke Zarathustra, a piece of philosophical fiction dealing with a variety of subjects and many of Nietzsche's core ideas. Sommernachtgarten and Immanaktrike are German for Summer Night Garden and Always Night Realm, respectively. Sommer, Summer, Nacht, Night, Garten, Garden. Immer, always, Nacht, Night, Reich, Realm. The original Chinese term for Sommernachtgarten means Summer Palace Spirit Garden. There is a character used in the Chinese translation that specifically refers to ancient Chinese gardens built for emperors and nobles to hunt and play in. It is the same term used in the description for the domain Midsummer Courtyard and in the name of Shai an mein Sommernachtgarten from the Stellar Moment soundtrack. In the original Chinese version, the term Summerland is literally written as Summerland with a literal translation of Summer, Earth/Soil, indicating that the Chinese characters should be read as Summerland. Frau Welt is German for Lady World or Woman World. She is an allegorical figure from medieval times representing the deceptive appearance of worldly things. Seen from the front, she is a beautiful and attractive woman. However, her back is horrid, filled with pus and covered with vermin. The Korean version of the title originates from one of the Korean translations of 1001 Nights. The Genshin theorist Ashikai on YouTube has hypothesized that Gesamtkunstwerk is a dragon because of things that happened during the version 2.8 Summertime Odyssey event. Other names. Sources. As you may have noticed, or not, I'm currently in the middle of releasing narrations for Sumeru books. I'm trying to post about 6 narrations per nation in line with their visitation order in game. So think Mondstadt, Liyue, Inazuma, Sumeru, so on, so forth. It means that I wasn't aiming to record and release this book until after I'd gotten through Nodcry and moved on to books with sort of like no region and unknown region, or just generally from Teyvat. So think titles like The Pale Princess and the Six Pygmies or the Byakuya Koku collection. Then circle back around in the same format, so Mondstadt, Liyue, Inazuma, Sumeru, so on and so forth. However, Ashkai released their theory video on why gold makes dragons using lore from this book, so it kind of meant that it got bumped to the top of my recordings and I've released it ahead of schedule. If you haven't watched Ashkai's video, I've put a card in the other information section where I've mentioned their theory and I highly recommend going and watching it. But as usual, if you've made it this far, thank you so much for watching. Ad Astra Abysosk. Also, I know my German pronunciation through this whole narration was terrible. I am so sorry. I really did try.